Have you ever looked at someone's life and thought, I want that? Not in a jealous way, not because you think their life is perfect, but just because for a moment, something about it speaks to you. I was scrolling through Instagram recently and came across a photographer who captures people's lives inside their New York apartments. The photos weren't glamorous. There were no luxury penthouses, no influencers posing, just ordinary people living ordinary lives. Someone reading by a window, someone making dinner in a tiny kitchen, someone sitting alone with a cup of coffee, someone working late into the night while the city lights glowed outside. And as I looked through the photos, I found myself wanting to be all of them. For a second, I wanted that life. I wanted the tiny apartment, the city noise, the feeling of anonymity, the feeling that I was just one person among millions, creating my own little life in a small corner of the world. But then I started thinking about all the other lives I've imagined for myself. Because New York isn't actually my dream. At least I don't think it is. Some days I picture myself living in the country. Not just in the country, way out in the country. In a converted barn surrounded by acres of land. I imagine waking up before sunrise, walking outside with a cup of coffee while the world is still quiet, feeding animals, building an animal sanctuary, spending my days caring for creatures that need a home. No traffic, no deadlines, no endless notifications. Just purpose, just simplicity. And when I imagine that life, it feels right too. Then there are other days when neither of those lives appeal to me. Instead, I picture a lake house, a front porch, a rocking chair, a peaceful neighborhood, the kind of place where mornings feel slow, the kind of place where you know your neighbors, where weekends aren't packed with plans, where life feels steady and safe, predictable in the best possible way. And somehow, that life feels right too. So which one is it? Do I want New York? Do I want the country? Do I want the lake house? For the longest time, I thought this meant I was indecisive. I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought everyone else had one clear vision for their future, while I kept changing mine every few weeks. But lately, I've started wondering if maybe I've been asking the wrong question. Maybe the question isn't, where do I want to live? Maybe the question is, how do I want to feel? Because when I really look at these different lives, they're not actually that different. I mean, the locations are different, the scenery is different, the houses are different. But the feelings are surprisingly similar. The New York apartment isn't really about New York. It's about independence, adventure. It's about possibility. The animal sanctuary isn't really about the animals. It's about purpose, contribution. It's about creating something meaningful. The lake house isn't really about the lake. It's about peace. It's about slowing down. It's about feeling content. And when I started looking at it this way, something clicked. I realized that maybe most of us aren't chasing places. We're chasing experiences. We're chasing emotions. We're chasing versions of ourselves. Sometimes we think the answer is somewhere else. A different city, a different house, a different job, a different relationship, a different life. But maybe what we're actually looking for is already hidden inside the fantasy. Not the location, the feeling. Because you can live in New York and feel trapped. You can live in the country and feel lonely. You can live by a lake and still feel restless. The place itself doesn't create the feeling. The feeling comes from how we live, how we spend our time, what we value, what we prioritize, who we become. And maybe that's why so many people finally achieve their dream life only to discover something surprising. They still have to wake up and be themselves. They still carry their fears, their habits, their worries, their insecurities. Because changing the scenery doesn't automatically change the person standing in it. That's a realization I've been sitting with lately. Instead of asking myself where I want to be in 5 years, I've started asking, what kind of life creates the feelings I'm looking for? What gives me purpose? What gives me peace? What makes me feel alive? What makes me feel free? Because maybe I don't need a barn. Maybe I don't need a lake house. Maybe I don't need a New York apartment. Maybe I need more moments of purpose, more moments of freedom, more moments of connection, more moments where I feel fully present in my own life. Maybe those things can start right here, right now. And maybe one day I'll end up in a city apartment, or a country barn, or a house by a lake. But wherever I end up, I hope I remember this. The dream was never really the place. The dream was the feeling. The feeling of waking up in the morning and knowing that my life feels like my own. And maybe that's what I've been searching for all along.